Greetings, fellow One Piece enthusiasts. We have a fresh new theory that will reshape how you perceive the Gorosei and how Oda plots the future of the story. Now, hit that sub-Saturn button and let's get straight into this one. What if I told you there's a countdown to a rare celestial event that will bring about the end of the One Piece world as we know it, and signal the return of Joy Boy's kingdom? Could it be that the gathering of the Gorosei being on Egghead together foreshadows the biggest change yet? We all know how important timing can be, and it seems like a few significant characters in One Piece have been waiting on something, such as Shanks and Dragon. It might be that they're waiting on Nika, kinda like Kuma, or maybe they're waiting on Joy Boy like Kaido was, or maybe it's the alignment of a certain 5 planets we call the Gorosei. Will Chapter 1111 be the big moment? Well, we've found clues that might answer that question. Today we are going to be showing you how Oda has planned the Gorosei's arrival on Egghead from the very beginning, how it indicates the end of the world government, and highlighting a small bit of text some might have missed on the final page of 1109, which is crucial to the story. There's no doubt One Piece often features references to the solar system and the cosmos in general, for example with Celestial Dragons, a cover story that features the moon, the names of the ancient weapons, and even potential space pirates. In Egghead, Vegapunk gave us a clue to the true nature of the One Piece solar system, which went against what we'd seen at the orrery in Ohara. Of course, the moon and sun play major roles with our protagonist having the sun god fruit, and fans still debating if it's Emu or Blackbeard that represents the moon. Additionally, Christianity in the Bible seems to be more and more pivotal as the story progresses, and we've seen examples including the appearance of 2 different Bibles, Eva's Book of Genesis, praying, and large crosses. This is evident more than ever since the recent ties to the South Blue shown in Egghead, confirming what some of us predicted for years, which is Kuma, the South Blue, the Saint Brice, and Christianity are all connected. It's important to note that Christianity and astrology are believed by many to be tightly interwoven, which we see during Egghead. It was during this arc that Kuma's backstory was revealed. Vegapunk, a scientist whose name comes from a constellation of stars, was introduced, and the Gorosei's names were revealed to be inspired by planets, and we even saw summoning circles. The motif at the very forefront of Egghead is the White Warrior, Nika, as demonstrated by Gear 5 and Kuma's backstory in the South Blue. Nika is a term most often displayed or associated with a cross. There's a constellation of stars in the real world called the South or Southern Cross. What sits exactly in the middle of the constellation? A star called Jinan, as in Jinny. Jinan means a bag of songs. There's also a star cluster there which is called the Jewelry Box, as in Jewelry Bonnie. But this is just scratching the surface. Some Christian interpretations predict the world as we know it will end soon. It's stated that, in a sense, this world will be turned upside down and the kingdom of God will finally come and free everyone. This era is indicated every 800 years when 5 planets align in what's called a grand conjunction. This event is said to happen in the presence of a crescent moon. So will we see this convergence in Egghead? The most anticipated planetary alignment matches up with the names given to the Gorosei and will be accompanied by a crescent moon, inferring the Blackbeard pirate Katarina Devon, also known as the Crescent Moon Hunter. It's said the planets will all appear on one side of the sun, as we saw with the arrival of the Gorosei. And as I mentioned earlier, this occurs once every 800 years, taking us back to the Void Century. This echoes Saturn's statement about not coming to the surface in a long time. Not only do all 5 planets align during the Grand Conjunction, but it also happens inside the constellation of Virgo. Virgo represents the changing of the kingdoms, which fits well as we see Luffy starting to become a global power and changing the ways of the world. Not only that, but Egghead is an ancient island with what appears like futuristic technology, reminiscent of what we expect of the ancient kingdom. So could it be that this is signifying the return of the ancient kingdom? Another wild detail is we got this small statement at the end of 1109 predicting a rare celestial event. It's particularly significant that we see it in 1109 as the following chapter will be 1110 and the one after that 1111. Both are numbers associated with biblical astrology. Not only this, but the quote explicitly implies there'll be consequences to the fact that for the first time in a long time, the Gorosei are all together at the same time on the surface. Earlier I mentioned the importance of timing, and it just so happens that Saturn is speculated to be Kronos. Kronos is the ancient Greek god of time. I'll touch on the ties to ancient Greece in a moment. Finally, another fascinating connection is in the real world there is something called the Toledo Letter. Now, this was almost like a petition or a letter signed by many people 800 years ago, addressed to the Pope, basically warning of the end of the world coming. Now, what's very interesting here is we actually saw a letter from Vivi revealing that she is a D. Now, these two could be very connected. It's very possible Oda got the inspiration of this letter from the Toledo letter, and the letter itself contained information that indicated the change of times. Now, with all that said, let's hand over to Straw Hat Lucas, who will tell us where all of this is going to go.
So with the God clock ticking, what in the world is about to happen on Egghead, and what is about to happen to the One Piece world? Abraham was said to be born during one of these rare celestial events and is noted as the father of Christianity. Oda may very well have personified this with Kuma, a father figure whose faith in Nika was unwavering to the bitter end, and potentially the seed that will grow into the New World religion. After all, he pretty much sacrificed himself for the life of his daughter. We predict that we'll see a new faith spread across the world, the likes of which will lead to widespread rebellion and change. Virgo could signify a change of kingdoms between the world government and the remnants of the ancient kingdom, or D-Clan. This would mean downfall of the Gorosei ultimately, and the rise of a new power, potentially Sword or the Revolutionary Army. In line with this, the people of the One Piece world may accept Vegapunk's new model putting the sun in the center of the solar system, portraying Luffy overcoming Emu. The 800-year timeline of this grand conjunction, matching with the 800 years since the Void Century, suggests soon this cycle will end, the will of D will be fulfilled, and a new era will start. We mentioned 5 planets converging. Why 5? Well, ancient Greece originally listed 5 planets. Later, the Romans adopted Greek teachings in part and added Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto to the roster. These are the names of the ancient weapons. Emu Nerona and her connections to Lily and Vivi suggest ancient Roman ties, particularly through ancient numerology. This might suggest Emu took over a prior civilization and in doing so introduced the 3 ancient weapons. Now, let me ask you, if the ancient weapons are the Roman 3 planets and the Gorosei are the 5 Greek planets, it leaves us with Earth. Is Emu associated with Earth? The Shandians believe in a sun god, which we see encompassed by Luffy. So could Emu have the Earth god fruit? Some argue Emu represents Mother Nature, and the small body frame we've seen so far could be evidence towards Emu being female. Furthermore, this theory talks about the alignment of the 5 planets, but fascinating, the conjunction of 8 planets is called a grand trine, evoking connection to One Piece's grand line. In the real world, astrology has guided prophecy for millennia, and it's highly likely in One Piece Oda will reflect this too, in my opinion. For example, it could be that Laugh-Tale is only accessible over the Yule period, or becomes visible on the last day of Yule, the 25th of December, or as we call it, Christmas Day. Oda already included Lode and Polestar Island, both inspired by navigational astrology, and the 4 Lode poneglyphs were shown to make a cross, indicating the location of Laugh-Tale, which is reminiscent of a star constellation and how we use them to navigate. 3-Day even suggested all of the poneglyphs originated as stars in constellation, which is how Roger knew how to find them, and also why he left them where they were, and that Lily may have been the one to leave them as a roadmap for future generations to follow. The biblical connections in One Piece are a little conspicuous and easy to spot, like the ones I named earlier. Other important examples are Lunarians, whom are angelic, Seraphim, who are cherubic, Uruj, who is the mad monk, Mihawk, who has his crosses, Adam and Eve trees, Emu's Garden of Eden imagery, and of course the Radiant Sister Caramel. What are your thoughts on this theory, fellow pirates? Do you believe there's a divine planet guiding the Straw Hats on their journey? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue to unravel the mysteries of the One Piece together. If you've made it this far, you've just won an Oni of your choosing. Let me know where you want him delivered in the comments. Join us on Thursday when we get into how Queen Nefertari Lily sacrificed herself and shaped Amazon Lily as we know it today. Until then, may the winds of adventure guide your sails. Bye! Mwah, mwah, mwah. Kissy, kissy, kiss.